we've heard artists, we've heard rappers try to genre bend sometimes. That's really a hit or miss decision a lot of times. And I think this one is a hit. It's refreshing that he can step into another genre and just basically kill it so effortlessly. I also think that it's hilarious that he made a rap song, he made a rock song about robbing people. So, and if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, or if you're not paying attention, yeah, if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, you can completely miss the fact that he's talking about getting over on somebody.
Let me put you on game.
And with that said, we will move into our last review of the show. We've got an artist that I'm sure most of our listeners have never heard of, and this project's not even recent, but I figured it'd be interesting to talk about because of the sound of the person that we're going to talk about, and his place in rap music. We're going to review Kenny Mason with Angelic Hoodrat Supercut, his project that was released a few months ago. If you're not familiar with Kenny Mason, he's a rapper, songwriter, producer from right here in Atlanta, Georgia. He burst onto the scene with his first project, Angelic Hoodrat. This is a supercut version of that. It's a completely different set of songs, but with the same name. Yeah, it's a really interesting project. I think the genre changes on the album kind of threw me off at first because I've heard some of his other songs from his previous project, but I hadn't heard any of the rock influence stuff. So it was really a little bit jarring, but I really grew to appreciate and enjoy them. And I'm really intrigued about where his sound is going to take and where he's going to go next. I think he's got next in terms of newer rappers that are going to take a leap, not necessarily on the Drake or the Kanye level, but like a Jid. I think he's going to take that spot, or at least step into that arena. And what I like the most about Kenny is I think he's a rapper that I can actively tell is trying to create his own sound and his own lane. Even by the way he raps, I can tell he's not mimicking anyone. I think he's created a sound that's all his own. He's leaning to what just sounds the best to him. And I think that there's something to appreciate from that, even if it's not necessarily, your taste. But what are your overall thoughts on Angelic Hoodrat Supercut?
Yeah, for me, I can tell that Kenny has been in some really dark places in life. And that's made very clear with kind of the painful memories that he paints and kind of describes throughout this project. And he's experienced some of the roughest neighborhoods in Atlanta. Yeah, very clear. And I think a lot of this pain is hidden behind really artful production on this project. And his lyrics are gritty, they're dark, and they can be conceptually predictable in some spots, but he balances that with really solid flows, great vocal manipulation, and well-orchestrated production that I thought did a masterful blend of punk rock, and trap. And I thought it fit, those two genres fit very well alongside one another. And I thought he hit like a really creative groove that is, like you said, unlike most artists that I've heard this year and in a while. I think that he did something with this project that Young Thug was just kind of scratching the surface of with his
that's
album
interesting.
Punk this year. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really think about it that way. Yeah, this is actually what you would expect from an album called Punk, for real, if you think about it. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, let's get into the track list. It starts with 43. I love his passion on this and discussing his loyalty to his team. I think his cadence here is a little lazy, but in a good way. I think it's kind of plodding along and carrying the track. It's a good change of pace from the passion that he shows on the chorus. And then you get into which is the second track. I think Kenny's 101, man, in terms of how his ability to rap is almost astounding, like how well he puts words and flows together. Like his flow and his cadence on the second half of the track is elite. Like it's top tier rapping. Like I don't know how many different ways to say it, but like he's just a really good rapper. Like the way he effortlessly just flows between his own flows, like between like mid verse, mid sentence, like he'll change flows, and it's pretty astounding that he has the ability to do that. And it's more evident even on a track like A Plus, which with him and Denzel Curry. I think both him and Denzel really kill this. I love how the sample and it's almost like an 8-bit video game.
Yeah.
And I love how it makes it super hard. And I love how they take such a track like that and they make it even harder with their flows. And I love how, Denzel, of course, is also one of the most elite rappers in music. Like he's also himself a one of one. So I like how he starts his verse by picking up Kenny's double time. It's just a really good example of elite rapping from the both of them. How did you feel about the opening leg of the album?
Yeah, man. Him talking about his environment in 43 and just that the hood and the toxic surroundings of him was very clear. And the distorted bass guitar and the synths really created this open air atmosphere that I felt like set the tone for the entire project in a lot of ways. And it feels hip hop because of his flows, but he does a good job of kind of blending the punk moodiness rock genre in this opener. And then I enjoyed the beat, the tempo, and his flow. I felt like an assault on the track, and I was really able to appreciate his skill over the stripped back trap beat, as you mentioned. And great delivery on the song. I thought overall it was a little plain, but like I mentioned before, he did a lot of really interesting stuff on the song. But then going into A plus, my God, I love the usage of synth drums, and that really set the tempo for the song alongside the creative usage of his voice on the track. I thought that really stood out to me. And the beat goes hard, man. Like that beat goes
Yeah,
hard. Denzel, like you said, swoops in and nearly body the whole song. Like I
yeah,
was thoroughly impressed by the amazing performance that he put on. It created a really dope listening experience. And it like the song just the beat got better over the course of the whole song. And I just thought that it was great, especially in opposition to the hook. There was a nice change of pace in the middle of the song there. So but then going into the show, I thought that man, this guy had a really cool beginning to the song. I like how he recorded that opening verse with like the different vocal inflections and created a really interesting kind of rap harmony. And it added to the mystique of the song overall, as well as the beat changes on the bridge and the remainder of the song as it reflects on being stuck in the hood mindset, coveting what others had. It was really good in terms of just bringing you into his world. What about you?
yeah. I really enjoyed the show as well. It's super laid back. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Isaiah Rashad on the
Mm,
first half. It's a very Isaiah
yeah,
Rashad like hook. I love like the chant like flow he has on that. I really like how he changes the pace on the second half. Much Money with Freddie Gibbs. I love the super distorted slow down sample on that one.
yeah,
Freddie, I guess he's just really good at picking features because Freddie is also one of the best rappers in the game. So it was interesting to hear him on that kind of production. He seamlessly picked his flow up really well with Kenny. I like how he's doing that on this album where he picks rappers that understand what he's doing and they're able to pick up on what he's putting down basically, and they're able to seamlessly just enter the track and do their thing. And then you get into Play Ball, which is a complete and utter flip of the sound on the album. He gets into just making a rock song essentially, but it
yeah,
works for me. We've heard artists, we've heard especially rappers try to genre bend sometimes, and so, like that's really a hit or miss decision a lot of times. And I think this one is a hit. It's refreshing that he can step into another genre and just basically kill it so effortlessly.
yeah.
Uh, I also think that it's hilarious that he made a rap song. He made a rock song about robbing people. So, and if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, or if you're not paying attention, yeah, if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, you can completely miss the fact that he's talking about like, getting over on somebody. And that
Yeah.
gets into the second half of the album with like a track like Pup, and I really like that one as well. I think both halves work really well with what he's trying to do. How are you feeling about that section, the complete switch
Uh,
up?
it caught like man, listening to albums in the gym can really throw you for a loop sometimes because you get into this rhythm and flow and then something changes and you're like, what the heck is that? But man, this song Play Ball is so good it doesn't make sense. It was a really good blend of punk rock and hip hop, and this is where I feel like experimentation that he showed on this project shined really bright, and he created something very unique to me. The guitar elements were fantastic alongside the live drumming. His vocal delivery really brought everything together, and he maintained his subject matter and didn't really veer off from his natural style. And that second verse was fantastic. And then I just loved the two-part song in Pup. The first part, which is kind of like this alien beat bop boot machine sound that gave it like a real spaceship aesthetic with the trap beat that was pleasing. Um, and you have that transition into the dark and gritty electric guitar that's really perfect over the repetitive hook. This 40 got kicked, that was real
Yeah.
infectious for me. But then going into the second part of the song, Lips, he distorts that alien sound. It takes more of a background role, and I like the bleep. It reminded me of the Nextels and circa 2002, 2003.
Mm,
And just that really solid guitar melody that intensifies as he talks up to a potential lover and his expectations of her. And he's surprisingly poetic, and I thought that he really demonstrated that in a bunch of different spots throughout this project. And it's not over the top; it's subtle. But then going into another favorite of mine, Titan with Angel White. The production and the instrumentation was top notch. His vocals were really well balanced next to the punk rock aesthetic. The solo guitar was great, a really great second verse. And I thought he really hit a unique artistic groove during this leg of the album. And he just really impressed me with the way he's been able to blend the genres up until this point.
Yeah, I like Titan as well. I think I love the really distorted guitar. I think, like he does on this album a lot. I think the beat transitions that he works with, like they work really seamlessly. His rapping is, of course, really great on the second half as well. I just think he's such a unique and refreshing sound. I really like what he's doing. Breathe Again, a really slow track. I really like his spoken word style rapping on there. I like Partments. Forever is one of my favorite tracks as well. I really love his passion there. I think his flow and his lyrics are, again, they're impeccable. He has a really great quote in there that kind of ties together the theme of the album, where he says, angels is hood rats depending on the angle you look at. So it's
Mm,
like, depending on how you view someone, they can either look like one thing or a completely different thing. So, especially when you talk about his upbringing and what he went through, I think that a certain segment of the population will view him one way, but people that are really in it and understand what his background is, I think they would be more inclined to see him as an angel rather than, like a quote unquote hood rat. But I think it was
yeah.
a really cool way to tie together the album and tie that album together with his circumstances and how he really feels. And of course, Storm, I thought that was a really good closer. But how are you feeling about the last segment of the album?
Yeah, I thought that he did a good job of kind of just telling you his story throughout this last stretch. In Breathe Again, the distorted verse created another unique effect that allowed him to kind of stay on theme but deliver another unique experience. And I just love that in so many songs on this project, he tries to do something new. He pivots in one way or another so that no two songs sound alike, even though you understand the overarching theme. And just the creative way, again, that he manipulates his voice. It's just from front to back, he just does something slightly different. Apartments with the trap beat and the distorted electric guitar, him rapping about his troubled upbringing that kind of led him to the streets until he decided to kind of pivot away from it. Then piggybacking on Forever, him rapping about his goals of being one of the greatest. And the the rap community, slowly but surely, they're gonna see this talent behemoth that he has. And that is coming, that is coming down. And I thought he did a great job on the verses and had nice flow and cadence. More subtle and noticeable distortion on his voice, likely done in post production, that I thought was really dope. And I highlighted that same verse, "Angels Hood Rats, depending on the angle you look at." Man, like another poetic moment. And I thought it was really funny how this album was called Angelic Hoodrat, although you hear dogs and puppy influences all throughout
Yeah.
the whole project. I thought it should be like Angelic, stray dog or something like that. I don't
Not as good of a name, but
know. But you can tell that he's definitely a dog lover. And then finishing up the album with Storm, a really smooth outro beat that kind of put the lid on the project as a whole, with some final messages that Kenny laid out to his audience. A few words of wisdom going forward, and just a little bit brighter of a song overall that I thought did a good job of rounding out his ability. Um, yeah, yeah,
yeah, really
surprisingly good
interesting
album.
project. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Uh, it's an 11-track album, so let's go for three again.
Okay.
I'll uh, I'll go Re,
Hmm.
A plus, and Play Ball.
Okay. Um, I'll go. Ooh, dang, this is tough. Uh, I'll go Titan. I'll go Play Ball and A plus. For show is right there for me. For show is really like right there for me. That was gonna be my fourth, but yeah, A plus, man. Yeah, that gets two thumbs up, man. Play Ball and Titan. I know. Yeah, Play Ball and Titan.
Yeah, really interesting project. Really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. If you had to recommend this to our listeners, what would be the strength of your recommendation?
I would say that this project is. I would highly recommend this project. I enjoyed it from start to finish. He actually blew me away with his artistic choices that I thought landed really well. I think the only flaw is that some of his lyrics are hard for me to process without seeing them written out, and it made it challenging understanding what his subject matter was. I understood some of the vibe, but then hearing play ball versus like listening to the lyrics of play ball made like the world of difference for me, and that can be a little bit annoying for some projects, like having to like read the lyrics ahead of time to really get it. But with that in mind, he's really poetic and in tune with his creative side, and I just am excited to see more of this kid.
Same. Gonna have to go highly recommend as well. I think it shows a lot of promise. I think it's a really good project. Not perfect by any means, but I do think that it's a really enjoyable piece of work. I think he's definitely an artist to watch. I'm really intrigued by where his career is gonna go and what the choices he's gonna make are. I hope he doesn't change. Like I hope he doesn't lose like his rock influence or dive too far one way or the other. I hope he keeps his balance that he has. Because I really enjoy the project. I think he's definitely a really strong rapper, and I think he offers so much more outside of just his lyricism with his ability to create music within multiple different genres. But yeah, shout out to Kenny Mason. He's really talented.
Yeah. Are you surprised that I enjoy the project?
Not after the Young Thug one, though. Because we definitely differed a lot on, on that project. But yeah, I'm not shocked. I wouldn't have been shocked either way. I don't think. I think if you would have just spit it out and been like, yeah, like I don't think that would have like I don't think that would have shocked me. But I'm not shocked that you like it because I think that even if you're not into like the rock side of it, I think it's pretty undeniable like his talent as a rapper. So I think you would at least take that from it if you didn't like the rock stuff. So maybe like at worst you would have been like, I really like the first half, but I'm not with the second half type of thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you on that.
Yeah. But if you have heard of Kenny Mason, be sure to let us know what you think about his project in the comments, and shoot us an email if that's the way you want to correspond. And if you haven't, definitely check him out if you like rap music or if you like rock music. I think he's an interesting blend of both. But yeah, certainly an artist to watch.